July 2025. Athens, Georgia. Judge Patrick Haggard signed an order that shocked everyone, an order that threatens justice. Jose Ibarra, the man who murdered Laken Riley, convicted November 2024, sentenced to life without parole, serving his sentence. Case closed. Justice served. Or so we thought. His defense attorneys filed a motion, claiming Ibarra has mental deficiency, claiming he wasn't competent to stand trial, claiming he didn't understand the proceedings, claiming he couldn't help prepare his defense. And the judge agreed, ordered a mental evaluation, using certified Spanish interpreter, to determine if Ibarra understood what happened, understood waiving jury trial, understood his conviction. If this evaluation finds him incompetent, his conviction could be overturned, could be thrown out, could mean new trial, could mean Jose Ibarra escapes justice, could mean Laken Riley's family suffers again. The family is devastated, outraged, terrified. They thought justice was done, thought it was over, thought Laken could rest. Now this, now uncertainty, now nightmare starting again. Before we continue, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this update changes everything. And you need to understand how we got here. Need to know who Laken Riley was. Need to know what happened that morning. February 22nd, 2024. Athens, Georgia. University of Georgia campus. Beautiful morning. Cold but clear. Perfect for a run. Laken Riley thought so too. Laken Hope Riley, 22 years old. Augusta University nursing student. She didn't attend UGA, but she lived nearby, loved running the trails. Lake Herrick Trail specifically. Wooded, peaceful, safe, or supposed to be safe. Laken was special. Everyone said so. Born January 10th, 2002. Marietta, Georgia. Raised with 3 siblings. Close family. Loving family. Christian family. She graduated River Ridge High School in 2020. Cross-country team. Runner since high school. Kept running in college. Stayed fit. Stayed healthy. Stayed disciplined. She wanted to be nurse. Pediatric nurse. Working with children. Helping families. Making difference. Augusta University nursing program was competitive. Laken got in. Excelled. Thrived. Almost done with degree. She kept a journal. Wrote in it regularly. Wrote about her dreams, her faith, her future. One entry would haunt everyone later. Entry to her future husband. Man she hadn't met yet. She wrote about waiting for him, praying for him, loving him already, wanting to build life together, to serve God together, to have family together. Beautiful words, hopeful words, words that would never come true. That morning, February 22nd, 2024, Laken woke up early. Normal routine. She texted her mom. Good morning. Going for a run. Love you. Simple text. Normal words. Last words her mother would receive. She put on her running clothes. Leggings. Jacket. Running shoes. Apple Watch on her wrist. AirPods in her ears. Phone in her pocket. Everything normal. Everything routine. Everything about to go wrong. She left her apartment. Her roommate Lily Steiner was still there. They had plans later. Laken would be back soon. Quick run. 1 hour maybe. Then back home. That was the plan. 9:03 a.m. Security cameras caught Laken entering the trail. Lake Herrick. University of Georgia. Wooded path. Popular with runners. Students used it daily. Considered safe. Community trusted it. Laken started running. Earbuds in. Music playing. Pace steady. She was experienced runner. Cross-country background. Knew the trail. Ran it often. Nothing worried her. Nothing scared her. Just another morning run. She didn't know someone was watching. Someone was waiting. Someone had been prowling the area all morning. Someone dangerous. Someone violent. Someone who shouldn't have been there. Jose Antonio Ibarra, 26 years old, Venezuelan national, illegal immigrant, living in Athens. 1 mile from this trail, 1 mile from where Laken was running. 1 mile from where everything would happen. He entered United States September 2022. El Paso, Texas. Caught by Border Patrol. Detained. Then released. No detention space available. Given court date. Told to appear. He never did. Disappeared into America. He went to New York City first. Migrant shelter. Roosevelt Hotel. Free housing. Taxpayer funded. Then flight to Georgia. Also free. Also taxpayer funded. To Athens, where his brother lived. His brother had job at UGA. Temporary worker. Campus employee. That's how Jose knew the area. Knew the campus. Knew the trails. Knew where students ran. Where they were alone. Where they were vulnerable. Jose had criminal history already. September 2023. Arrested in New York. Driving scooter without license. 5-year-old child riding with him. No helmet. Endangering child. Arrested. Released. ICE didn't detain him. Missed opportunity. October 2023. Arrested again. Athens, Georgia. Shoplifting at Walmart. With his brother. Caught stealing. Arrested. Released. Bench warrant issued December 2023 when he skipped court. Never arrested on warrant. Still free. Still walking around. Still dangerous. February 22nd, 2024. That morning, before Laken started running, Jose was already prowling. Surveillance would later show him. Walking around campus. Looking in windows. Apartment building. Watching female student. Peeping. Stalking. The student saw him. Got scared. Called police. Jose ran. Left the area. But didn't leave campus. Didn't go home. Stayed nearby. Stayed hunting. Stayed waiting for opportunity. 9:10 a.m. 7 minutes after Laken started running. Her Apple Watch recorded something. Heart rate spiked. Suddenly. Dramatically. From normal running pace to extreme stress. Something happened. Something bad. 9:11 a.m. Her phone dialed 911. Emergency call. Automatic maybe. Intentional maybe. But she couldn't speak. Couldn't tell them location. Couldn't explain emergency. Line stayed open. 10 minutes. Just sounds. Just background. Just evidence of something horrible happening. Her Apple Watch kept recording. Heart rate elevated. Extreme levels. Sustained. Not normal. Not running. Something else. Something terrifying. Something deadly. Back at the apartment, Lily was waiting. Time passed. Laken should be back. Should have returned. 1 hour passed. Then more. No Laken. No text. No call. No response. Lily tried calling. No answer. Tried texting. No response. Tried again. 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 Nothing. Worry turning to panic. Panic turning to fear. She checked Find My iPhone. Laken's location showed. Still at the trail. Not moving. Hadn't moved for hours. Phone stationary. That wasn't right. Laken should be moving. Should be home. Should be somewhere. Lily called police. Reported it. Friend missing. Phone not moving. Not responding. Something wrong. Very wrong. UGA police responded. Went to trail. Started searching. Following phone location. Getting closer. Checking woods. Looking carefully. Finding something. In the woods. Off the trail. Hidden partially. They found her. Found Laken Riley. Found what Jose Ibarra had done. Found why her heart rate spiked. Found why she couldn't speak on 911. Found why she never came home. Laken Riley was dead. 22 years old. Nursing student. Future pediatric nurse. Journal writer. Faith believer. Dream chaser. Murdered. On morning run. On safe trail. On college campus. By man who shouldn't have been in America. They found Laken Riley in the woods. Off the trail. Hidden partially. UGA police surrounded the scene. Secured the area. Called for backup. Called detectives. Called medical examiner. This wasn't accident. This was crime scene. This was murder. Laken lay there. Face down. Body positioned. Clothing disturbed. Blood visible. Trauma obvious. She'd been attacked. Violently. Brutally. Deadly. Medical examiner arrived. Dr. Michelle DeMarco. Experienced. Professional. She'd seen many bodies. Many deaths. Many murders. But this one was different. This victim was young. Student. Athlete. Future nurse. Gone. Dr. DeMarco examined the body. Carefully. Thoroughly. Documenting everything. Injuries were severe. Extensive. Fatal. Laken's skull was fractured. Broken. Portion completely shattered. Blunt force trauma. Something heavy. Something hard. Something used as weapon. Near the body they found it. A rock. Large rock. Covered in blood. Covered in hair. Covered in evidence. That was the weapon. That's what killed her. That's what shattered her skull. But there was more. Lacerations on her body. Contusions. Bruises. Defensive wounds. She fought back. Hard. For her life. For survival. For escape. Her neck showed marks. Ligature marks. Strangulation marks. Someone choked her. Squeezed her throat. Cut off her air. Cut off her life. Dr. DeMarco determined cause of death. Blunt force trauma to the head. Combined with asphyxiation. He beat her with rock. Then strangled her. Or strangled her while beating her. Either way, brutal. Either way, murder. Either way, Laken suffered. Time of death? Based on Apple Watch data. 9:28 a.m. Her heart stopped. 18 minutes after attack began. 18 minutes of fighting. Of terror. Of pain. The Apple Watch told entire story. Technology documenting murder. Recording timeline. Proving everything. 9:10 a.m. Heart rate spiked. From normal running pace to extreme stress. Attack began. Someone grabbed her. Someone attacked her. Someone started killing her. Her heart rate stayed elevated. Extremely elevated. Beyond normal. Beyond exercise. Beyond anything except life-threatening situation. She was fighting. Running on adrenaline. Trying to survive. 9:11 a.m. Her phone dialed 911. 1 minute after attack started. Maybe she pressed it. Maybe accident. Maybe phone sensed emergency. Either way, call connected. Dispatcher answered. 911. What's your emergency? Silence. No voice. No words. No explanation. Just sounds. Struggling sounds. Breathing sounds. Movement sounds. Background noise. Dispatcher tried again. Hello? Can you hear me? What's your emergency? Still nothing. No response. Line stayed open. Dispatcher listening. Hearing something. Hearing struggle. Hearing emergency. But couldn't help. Couldn't locate. Couldn't send units without address. The call lasted 10 minutes. 10 minutes of open line. 10 minutes of sounds. 10 minutes of Laken fighting for her life while 911 listened helplessly. 9:28 a.m. Her heart stopped. Apple Watch recorded it. Documented it. Proved it. 18 minutes after attack began. 18 minutes of fighting. Laken Riley was dead. But what happened in those 18 minutes? What did the evidence show? What did investigators piece together? Jose Ibarra attacked her on the trail. Grabbed her. She fought immediately. Scratched his face. Clawed at him. Left marks. Left DNA. Left evidence under her fingernails. He tried to rape her. Evidence suggested attempted sexual assault. But Laken fought. Refused. Resisted. That's why he killed her. Because she wouldn't let him. Because she fought back. Because she said no. He grabbed the rock. Large rock. Heavy rock. Deadly rock. Bashed her head. Again. 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 Skull fracturing. Blood flowing. Laken weakening. She kept fighting. For 18 minutes. Even injured. Even bleeding. Even dying. She fought. She clawed. She scratched. She marked him. She identified him. She left evidence. He strangled her. Hands around throat. Squeezing. Choking. She couldn't breathe. Couldn't scream. Couldn't call for help. Phone connected to 911, but she couldn't speak. 9:28 a.m. She stopped fighting, stopped breathing, stopped living. Jose Ibarra killed Laken Riley. Then he left her body, left the scene, left evidence everywhere. He went home, to his apartment, 1 mile away, changed clothes, his jacket covered in blood, her hair on his jacket, evidence everywhere. He disposed of the jacket, threw it in dumpster, near his apartment complex, thought he was smart, thought he was safe, thought he got away with it, but he left evidence. DNA under her fingernails, his DNA, his skin cells, his identity. She marked him, even dying, even in final moments. She fought, she clawed, she identified her killer. Back at the scene, investigators processed everything, collected evidence, documented injuries, photographed scene, found the rock, found blood, found hair, found everything. They found her phone, still connected to 911, 10-minute call, all recorded, all evidence, all proving timeline. They found her Apple Watch, still recording, still documenting, heart rate data, timeline data, proof of 18-minute fight, proof of 9:28 a.m. death, technology solving murder. Laken's family was notified. Her mother Allison Phillips, her stepfather John Phillips, her father Jason Riley. Come to Athens. Come identify body. Come confirm worst nightmare. They arrived at hospital, saw her body, identified their daughter, their Laken, their baby, dead, murdered, gone, forever. Body camera footage captured the moment. Officers telling family collapsing, screaming, crying. Allison fell to ground, weeping, wailing, uncontrollable grief. Mother losing daughter, worst pain imaginable. John Phillips held her, tried to comfort her, but couldn't. No comfort exists, no words help, no actions ease pain. Their daughter was murdered. Nothing fixes that, nothing heals that, nothing stops that pain. Investigators worked the scene, collected more evidence, found surveillance footage from apartment building, where Jose Ibarra was peeping earlier that morning, before he killed Laken, before he went hunting, before he found victim. Video showed him walking around campus, looking in windows, watching female student, peeping, stalking, hunting, all caught on camera, all proving his intent, all showing his predatory behavior. They found more evidence. At his apartment, his jacket in dumpster, blood on jacket, her hair on jacket, DNA everywhere, proof, evidence, connection. They found scratches on him, on his face, on his arms, on his body, fresh scratches, from fingernails, from Laken's fingernails, from her fighting, from her marking him, from her identifying her killer even as she died. The case was building, evidence mounting, timeline establishing, suspect emerging. Jose Antonio Ibarra, 26-year-old illegal immigrant, living 1 mile from murder scene, with scratches on his body, with victim's hair on his jacket, with her DNA under his fingernails. Guilty. Laken Riley fought for 18 minutes. She called 911. She scratched her attacker. She left DNA evidence. She marked Jose Ibarra. She identified her killer. Even dying, she fought for justice. Even murdered, she solved her own case. As we dive deeper, like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. February 22nd, 2024. Hours after Laken Riley's murder. Athens, Georgia. UGA police had crime scene, had body, had evidence. Now they needed suspect, needed killer, needed Jose Ibarra. But they didn't know his name yet, didn't have identification, just had evidence. DNA under Laken's fingernails, scratches, hair on jacket, surveillance footage, technology, clues leading to killer. Investigators started with apartment building, where surveillance caught someone peeping in windows. Same morning, before Laken's murder, hours before, they pulled footage, reviewed it, analyzed it. Male, Hispanic, dark clothing, baseball cap, walking around building, looking in windows, watching female student. The student was interviewed. She reported him, called police that morning, scared, threatened. Police responded but he ran, left the area, disappeared. She described him, clothing, appearance, behavior, everything she remembered, everything that scared her. Police canvassed the area, showed footage, asked residents. Anyone recognized this person? Someone recognized him. Resident of nearby apartment complex. That looks like Jose Ibarra. Lives here, with his brother. Police had name, had address, had suspect. Jose Antonio Ibarra. Apartment 1 mile from Lake Herrick Trail. 1 mile from murder scene. They ran his information. Background check. Criminal history. Immigration status. Everything came back. Everything pointed to problems. Illegal immigrant. Entered September 2022. El Paso, Texas. Caught. Released. Never showed for court date. Multiple arrests. New York. Georgia. Active bench warrant from December 2023. Police approached his apartment. Carefully. Tactically. They knocked. Door opened. Jose Ibarra stood there. Scratches visible. On his face. On his arms. Fresh scratches. Defensive wound scratches. Jose Ibarra? Officer asked. Yes, he answered. We need to talk to you about an incident this morning. He agreed. Came willingly. No resistance. Just compliance. Just acting innocent. They brought him to station. Interview room. Detectives waiting. Questions ready. Detective started interview. Where were you this morning? Jose answered. Stayed home. Didn't go anywhere. Just normal morning. Detective pointed to scratches. How did you get those? Jose hesitated. From work. Construction. Sharp edges. Lies. Obviously lies. But documented. Recorded. Everything evidence. Do you know Laken Riley? No. Never heard that name. She was murdered this morning at Lake Herrick Trail. No reaction. No surprise. No emotion. Just blank stare. Just guilt showing. While Jose was interviewed, investigators executed search warrant. At his apartment, looking for evidence, they found the jacket. In dumpster, behind apartment building. Dark jacket, covered in blood. Not his blood. Laken's blood. They found hair. On the jacket. Long brown hair. Laken's hair. Transferred during attack. During murder. They collected everything. Bagged it. Tagged it. Sent to lab. DNA analysis. Proof. Inside apartment they found clothing. Similar to surveillance footage. Same style. Same colors. Same outfit worn by Peeping Tom. They found his phone. Data extracted. Location data. Timeline. Where he was. When he was there. His phone placed him at apartment building. When peeping occurred. Time matched. Location matched. His phone placed him near Lake Herrick. Morning of murder. Time matched. Location matched. Technology proving guilt. DNA results came fast. Rushed analysis. Priority case. Murder investigation. DNA under Laken's fingernails? Match. Jose Ibarra's DNA. His skin cells. She scratched him. Marked him. Identified him. Blood on jacket? Match. Laken Riley's blood. Her DNA. On his jacket. In dumpster. Evidence of guilt. Hair on jacket? Match. Laken Riley's hair. Transferred during attack. During struggle. During murder. The evidence was overwhelming. DNA. Surveillance. Phone data. Scratches. Jacket. Hair. Blood. Everything pointed to Jose Ibarra. Detectives confronted him with evidence. Your DNA was under her fingernails. No response. Just silence. Her blood was on your jacket. Still nothing. No denial. No explanation. Your phone places you at the scene. Silence. Heavy silence. Guilty silence. They arrested him. Formally. Charged him. Murder. Malice murder. Felony murder. Kidnapping. aggravated assault with intent to rape, multiple charges, multiple felonies. Jose Ibarra was booked, photographed, fingerprinted, processed, jail uniform, mugshot, beginning of justice. Grand jury was convened, evidence presented, witnesses testified, DNA expert, medical examiner, police officers, everyone proving guilt. Grand jury deliberated. Not long. Evidence too strong. They indicted. 10 counts total. Malice murder. Intentional killing with malice aforethought. Life without parole possible. Felony murder. Killing during commission of felony. Kidnapping. Aggravated assault. Kidnapping with bodily injury. Taking Laken against her will. Causing death. Aggravated assault with intent to rape. Sexual assault attempt. Reason for murder. Reason Laken fought. Aggravated battery. Causing serious bodily harm. Bashing skull with rock. Breaking bones. Obstruction. Hindering investigation. Disposing evidence. Jacket in dumpster. Lying to police. Tampering with evidence. Destroying. Concealing. Jacket. Clothing. Peeping Tom. Same morning. Apartment building. Before murder. Stalking behavior. Predatory behavior. Additional technical charges. Legal charges. Everything prosecutors could prove. Everything evidence supported. All 10 counts. All indicted. All charged. All going to trial. All proving Jose Ibarra murdered Laken Riley. The case was political immediately. Immigration debate exploded. Ibarra was illegal immigrant. Released at border. Should have been detained. Should have been deported. Instead killed American nursing student. Republicans blamed Biden administration. Border policies. Catch and release. Sanctuary cities. Failure to detain. Failure to deport. Failure to protect Americans. Democrats defended immigration system. Said this was isolated incident. Said most immigrants aren't violent. Said system needs reform, not elimination. Laken Riley became symbol of border failure, of system failure, of young American killed by illegal immigrant who shouldn't have been here. Her name was used in speeches, in campaigns, in legislation. Laken Riley Act introduced, requiring detention of illegal immigrants arrested for theft or burglary. House passed it. March 2024. Senate blocked it. Democratic-controlled Senate. Wouldn't bring it to vote. Wouldn't pass it. Politics over safety. But Laken's family wanted justice. Not politics. Not debates. Just trial. Just conviction. Just accountability for man who murdered their daughter. Trial was set. November 2024. Jose Ibarra would face jury. Would face evidence. Would face justice. Finally, November 15, 2024. Athens Clarke County Superior Court. Georgia. Trial day. Jose Ibarra's trial for murdering Laken Riley. Almost 9 months after her death. Almost 9 months of waiting. Finally, justice approaching. But something unusual happened. Something unexpected. Something that changed everything. Jose Ibarra waived his right to jury trial. Chose bench trial instead. Judge only. No jury. No 12 citizens deciding guilt. Just Judge Patrick Haggard. Alone. Making decision. Deciding fate. Why? Why would defendant choose judge over jury? Defense strategy maybe. Thinking judge less emotional than jury. Less swayed by victim's family. Less influenced by politics. Less likely to convict on sympathy alone. Or maybe knowing evidence too strong. Knowing jury would convict quickly. Hoping judge more careful. More analytical. More likely to find technicalities. More likely to acquit. Either way, decision made. Bench trial proceeding. Judge Haggard presiding. Deciding everything. Guilt or innocence. Life or freedom. Justice or failure. The courtroom packed. Media everywhere. Cameras allowed. Streaming live. National attention. International attention. Everyone watching. Everyone waiting. Laken's family was there. Front row. Mother Allison Phillips. Stepfather John Phillips. Father Jason Riley, sisters, extended family, all there, all waiting, all needing justice. Jose Ibarra entered, shackled, orange jumpsuit, headphones on, Spanish interpreter translating everything. He spoke little English, needed translation, needed interpretation. Judge Haggard addressed court, explained process, bench trial procedure. He would hear evidence, decide facts, apply law, render verdict. All alone, all his decision. Prosecution began. Special Prosecutor Sheila Ross, experienced, prepared, ready. She had overwhelming evidence, undeniable proof, clear case. Her opening statement was powerful, direct, emotional but factual. Laken Riley was 22 years old, nursing student, future pediatric nurse. She went for a run on February 22, 2024. She never came home. Why? Because Jose Ibarra attacked her, beat her, strangled her, killed her. The evidence will prove this beyond any doubt. She outlined the case, DNA evidence, surveillance footage, phone data, Apple Watch timeline, witnesses, medical examiner, everything proving guilt. Defense attorney Caitlin Beck gave opening. Different strategy, different approach, interesting approach. The evidence is circumstantial. Jose Ibarra has a brother, Diego Ibarra. They share similar DNA. They live together, wear similar clothes. The evidence doesn't prove Jose did this. Could have been Diego. Blaming the brother. That was defense strategy. Reasonable doubt through alternative suspect, through family member, through DNA similarity. But prosecution was ready, had evidence, had proof, had everything showing Jose guilty, not Diego. Jose. First witness, Officer Zachary Davis, UGA Police, first responder, found Laken's body, described scene, location, condition, injuries visible. Second witness, Lily Steiner, Laken's roommate, last person to see her alive, testified about that morning, about Laken leaving for run, about never returning, about finding her phone location, about calling police. Third witness, Dr. Michelle DeMarco, medical examiner, critical testimony, cause of death, injuries sustained, timeline of death. She described injuries, skull fracture, multiple blunt force trauma wounds, strangulation marks, asphyxiation, died from combination, beaten and strangled, brutal, vicious, intentional. She showed autopsy photos, graphic photos, horrific photos. Judge viewed them, remained composed, professional, but clearly affected, clearly seeing evil. Fourth witness, FBI forensic expert, DNA testimony, most important evidence, most damning evidence. DNA under Laken's fingernails? Jose Ibarra's DNA, not Diego's. Jose's. She scratched Jose, marked Jose, identified Jose. Defense tried arguing. Brothers share DNA, similar profiles. Could be mistake. Expert destroyed argument. The DNA match probability is 1 in 10 billion. This is Jose Ibarra's DNA, not his brother's, not anyone else's. Jose Ibarra's. 1 in 10 billion. Undeniable, unmistakable, conclusive. Blood on jacket? Laken Riley's blood. Her DNA. Found in Jose's dumpster. Behind his apartment. Disposed by him. Hidden by him. Hair on jacket? Laken Riley's hair. Transferred during attack. During struggle. During murder. Fifth witness. Digital forensics expert. Apple Watch data. Timeline. Heart rate. Everything. 9:10 a.m. Attack began. Heart rate spiked. Extreme stress. Life-threatening situation. 9:11 a.m. Phone dialed 911. Laken trying to get help. Trying to survive. 9:28 a.m. Heart stopped. 18 minutes of fighting. 18 minutes of terror. Then death. Expert played 911 call. 10 minutes. Open line. Sounds of struggle. Sounds of attack. Sounds of murder. Courtroom silent. Everyone listening. Everyone horrified. Laken's mother collapsed. Sobbing. Couldn't bear it. Hearing daughter's final moments. Hearing her die. Hearing her fight. Unbearable. Sixth witness. Cell phone expert. Jose's phone data. Location tracking. Timeline matching. Phone placed Jose at apartment building. When peeping occurred. 8 a.m. Phone placed Jose near Lake Herrick. When Laken was murdered. 9:10 a.m. Phone placed Jose back at apartment. After murder. 10 a.m. Timeline perfect. Location perfect. Proof perfect. Defense tried arguing. Phone data isn't exact. Could be off. Could be Diego's phone. Expert destroyed that too. This is Jose Ibarra's phone. His number. His device. Location accurate within meters. He was there. Seventh witness. Surveillance expert. Footage from apartment building. From campus. From everywhere. Showed Jose peeping in windows. 8 a.m. Same morning. Before murder. Stalking. Hunting. Showed clothing match. Jose wearing same outfit. Same colors. Same style. Documented. Proven. Defense tried final argument. Could be Diego. They look similar. Wear similar clothes. Prosecution destroyed it. Showed Diego's alibi. Diego at work. UGA dining hall. Security footage. Time-stamped. Clocked in. Working. Not murdering. Not Jose. Diego couldn't have killed Laken. Was at work. Provable. Documented. Recorded. Jose killed Laken. Evidence proved it. DNA proved it. Timeline proved it. Everything proved it. Eighth witness. Responding officers. Testified about Jose's arrest. About scratches on his body. About his lies. About everything. Ninth witness. Jose's roommate. Testified about that morning. About Jose leaving. About Jose returning with scratches. About jacket disappearing. 10th witness. Another FBI expert. More DNA. More evidence. More proof. Evidence was overwhelming. Undeniable. Conclusive. Prosecution rested. Case presented. Guilt proven. Defense presented nothing. No witnesses. No evidence. No alternative theory proven. Just argued circumstantial. Argued Diego could have done it. Argued reasonable doubt. But there was no doubt. Evidence too strong. Proof too clear. DNA too conclusive. Jose Ibarra killed Laken Riley. Everyone knew it. Judge knew it. Verdict coming. As we continue, like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. November 20th, 2024. Athens Clarke County Superior Court. Verdict day. 5 days after trial began. 5 days of testimony. 5 days of evidence. 5 days of waiting. Now decision time. Judge Patrick Haggard sat at bench. Alone. No jury. Just him. Making decision. Deciding Jose Ibarra's fate. Deciding justice for Laken Riley. The courtroom packed again. Even fuller than trial days. Everyone wanting to witness verdict. Wanting to see justice. Wanting closure. Laken's family front row. Mother Allison Phillips. Stepfather John Phillips. Father Jason Riley. Sisters. Everyone there. Everyone holding hands. Everyone praying. Everyone hoping. Jose Ibarra sat at defense table. Headphones on. Spanish interpreter ready. Orange jumpsuit. Shackled. Emotionless. Blank face. No fear visible. No remorse visible. Nothing visible. Defense attorneys beside him. Caitlin Beck. John Donnelly. Both knowing what's coming. Both knowing evidence was overwhelming. Both knowing verdict likely guilty. But hoping. Always hoping. Prosecution table. Special Prosecutor Sheila Ross. Ready. Confident. Evidence was undeniable. DNA was conclusive. Guilt was certain. Judge Haggard began speaking. Courtroom silent. Everyone listening. Every word matching. Every syllable important. This court has carefully considered all evidence presented. All testimony heard. All arguments made. This is a difficult case. Tragic case. Young woman murdered. Life taken. Family destroyed. He paused, looking at papers, looking at evidence, looking at responsibility weighing on him. The evidence in this case is significant. DNA evidence, digital evidence, surveillance footage, medical examiner testimony, all considered, all weighed, all analyzed. Another pause, tension building, everyone waiting, holding breath. The defense argues this is circumstantial evidence, that Jose Ibarra's brother Diego could have committed this crime, that reasonable doubt exists. Defense attorneys looked hopeful. Maybe he's considering it. Maybe doubt exists. Maybe acquittal possible. However, judge continued, the evidence does not support this theory. Diego Ibarra was at work. His alibi is solid, documented, proven. He could not have committed this murder. Hope fading, reality approaching. The DNA evidence is conclusive. Jose Ibarra's DNA was found under the victim's fingernails. The probability of this DNA belonging to anyone else is 1 in 10 billion. This is not circumstantial. This is conclusive. Judge's voice stronger now. Conviction clear. Decision made. The digital evidence places Jose Ibarra at the crime scene. His phone, his location, his timeline, all matching, all proving presence, all proving opportunity. Continuing, methodically, thoroughly, explaining reasoning, explaining verdict. The surveillance footage shows Jose Ibarra engaging in peeping behavior same morning, stalking behavior, predatory behavior, hunting behavior. This establishes intent, establishes pattern, establishes guilt. Laken's mother gripping stepfather's hand, squeezing tight, knowing what's coming, hoping for justice. The medical evidence shows Laken Riley fought for her life. 18 minutes. She scratched her attacker. She marked him. She identified him. That attacker was Jose Ibarra. Judge looked directly at Jose, staring at him, making eye contact, delivering verdict. On count 1, malice murder, I find the defendant Jose Antonio Ibarra guilty. Courtroom erupted, gasped, crying, cheering. Laken's mother collapsed, sobbing, relief, justice. Finally, judge continued. On count 2, felony murder, I find the defendant guilty. More emotion, more tears, more relief. On count 3, kidnapping with bodily injury, I find the defendant guilty. On count 4, aggravated assault with intent to rape, I find the defendant guilty. On count 5, aggravated battery, I find the defendant guilty. Count after count. Guilty, guilty, guilty. All 10 counts. Every single charge. Complete conviction. Total guilt. Absolute justice. Jose Ibarra showed no emotion, no reaction, no surprise. Just sat there, headphones on, listening to interpreter. Hearing guilty, hearing guilty, hearing guilty. 10 times. Nothing. No humanity. No remorse. No soul. Judge finished reading verdicts. The defendant is found guilty on all counts. Sentencing will proceed immediately. Immediately. No delay. No waiting. No postponement. Justice continuing. Justice completing. But first, victim impact statements. Family's chance to speak. To tell court what they lost. What Jose took. What can never be returned. Allison Phillips stood. Laken's mother. Shaking. Crying. But determined. Determined to speak. Determined to tell truth. Determined to honor daughter. This sick, twisted, evil coward showed no regard for Laken or for human life. She began. Voice breaking. Tears flowing. Pain obvious. Laken was my baby. My daughter. My best friend. She wanted to be nurse. Wanted to help children. Wanted to make difference. She had dreams. She had plans. She had future. Crying harder now. Barely able to speak. But continuing. Needing to speak. He took everything from us. Took our daughter. Took our sister. Took our friend. Took our future. Our holidays. Our celebrations. Our joy. Everything gone. Because he decided to hunt. To attack. To kill. She looked at Jose, directly at him. Hatred visible. Justified hatred. Righteous anger. You showed no mercy to Laken. She fought you for 18 minutes. 18 minutes. She scratched you, marked you, identified you. Even dying, she fought. Even murdered, she won. Because you're convicted. You're guilty. You're going to prison forever. She sat down, collapsing, exhausted, emotionally destroyed, but relieved. Justice delivered. Lauren Phillips stood next. Laken's sister. Younger. Devastated. Broken. Laken was my big sister. My protector. My role model. I looked up to her. Wanted to be like her. Now I'll never see her again. Never talk to her. Never hug her. Never hear her laugh. Voice cracking. Tears streaming. Pain unbearable. Our family is broken. Shattered. We'll never be whole again. Every holiday hurts. Every birthday hurts. Every moment hurts. Because he killed her. Because evil exists. More family members spoke. Father. Stepfather. Friends. Roommate. Everyone describing Laken. Describing pain. Describing permanent damage. Judge listened to everything. Heard every word. Felt every emotion. Then prepared for sentencing. Jose Antonio Ibarra, you have been found guilty of malice murder. Under Georgia law, this carries mandatory sentence of life in prison. The only question is whether you are eligible for parole. He paused, considered, decided. Given the heinous nature of this crime, the brutality, the lack of remorse, the danger you pose to society, I sentence you to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Life without parole. Never getting out. Never walking free. Never seeing outside prison walls. Forever incarcerated. Forever punished. Forever removed from society. Additional sentences imposed. Life for felony murder. 20 years for kidnapping. 20 years for assault. All consecutive. All added. All ensuring Jose never freed. Jose showed no reaction. Just sat there. Guilty. Convicted. Sentenced. Life over. Freedom gone. Justice served. Laken's family cried. Relief tears. Justice tears. Closure tears. Daughter still dead. Sister still murdered. Pain still permanent. But justice delivered. Monster imprisoned. Jose Antonio Ibarra was found guilty on all 10 counts and sentenced to life without parole for murdering Laken Riley on November 20th, 2024. November 20th, 2024. Immediately after verdict. Same courtroom. Same day. Judge Patrick Haggard wasn't done. Verdict delivered. Guilty on all counts. Now sentencing. Now deciding punishment. Now determining Jose Ibarra's fate. Georgia law was clear. Malice murder conviction carries mandatory life sentence. But two options exist. Life with possibility of parole after 30 years. Or life without possibility of parole. Ever. Judge Haggard had decision. Had power. Had responsibility. Which sentence? Which punishment? Which justice? Prosecution argued for life without parole. Maximum sentence. Harshest punishment. No second chances. No freedom. Never. Special Prosecutor Sheila Ross stood. Addressed judge. Made argument. Your Honor, this was not a crime of passion. Not a mistake. Not an accident. This was predatory. Calculated. Evil. She detailed the evidence. The peeping. The stalking. The hunting. The attack. The 18-minute fight. The murder. The disposal of evidence. All proving premeditation. All proving intent. All proving danger. Jose Ibarra is a danger to society. He stalked women, attacked a student, murdered another, showed no remorse, no humanity, no soul. She emphasized Laken's suffering. 18 minutes of fighting, 18 minutes of terror, 18 minutes of pain, all while Jose attacked, beat, strangled, killed. He deserves no mercy, no second chance. No possibility of freedom. Life without parole is the only appropriate sentence. Defense argued for life with parole. Possibility of freedom after 30 years. Second chance. Defense attorney Caitlin Beck stood, made her argument, required by law, part of process, part of system. Your Honor, Jose Ibarra has no prior murder convictions. This is his first violent offense of this magnitude. Georgia law allows for parole consideration after 30 years. She mentioned his difficult life, poverty, immigration, struggles, not excuses, just context, just mitigation, just reasons for some mercy. Life with parole doesn't mean he'll be released, just means possibility. After 30 years, after decades, after punishment, the parole board would still decide. But her argument was weak. Everyone knew it. Evidence too strong. Crime too brutal. Victim too innocent. Justice too clear. Judge Haggard listened to both sides, considered arguments, reviewed evidence, made decision. He addressed Jose directly, through interpreter, making sure he understood, making sure he heard, making sure he knew. Jose Antonio Ibarra, you have been found guilty of the malice murder of Laken Riley. This court must now determine your sentence. Judge's voice firm, decided, certain. I have considered the evidence, the nature of this crime, the impact on the victim's family, the danger you pose to society. He listed aggravating factors, things making crime worse, things justifying harshest sentence. You stalked women on the morning of February 22, 2024. You engaged in peeping behavior. You hunted for a victim. You found Laken Riley. Continuing, methodically, building case for life without parole. You attacked her without provocation, without cause, without humanity. She was jogging, exercising, living her life. You destroyed that life. Judge's anger showing, controlled anger, righteous anger, judicial anger. Laken Riley fought you for 18 minutes. 18 minutes. She scratched your face, left her DNA under her fingernails, marked you, identified you. Even as she was dying, she was ensuring justice. Voice stronger now, conviction absolute. You showed no mercy. You beat her with a rock. You strangled her. You killed her. Then you disposed of evidence. You lied to police. You showed no remorse. Judge looked at Jose, staring, judging, sentencing. There is no mitigation that outweighs the aggravation in this case. No reason to show mercy. No justification for leniency. No possibility you deserve second chance. Pause. Heavy pause. Final pause before sentence. For the malice murder of Laken Hope Riley, I sentence you to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Courtroom erupted again. Cheering. Crying. Relief. Justice. Maximum sentence. Harshest punishment. Appropriate justice. Laken's mother sobbed. Not sad tears. Relief tears. Justice tears. Her daughter's killer would never walk free. Never breathe free air. Never see sunset outside prison. Never hurt anyone again. Forever. Judge continued with additional sentences, making sure, ensuring, guaranteeing Jose never released. For felony murder, life in prison consecutive to the first life sentence. For kidnapping with bodily injury, 20 years consecutive. For aggravated assault with intent to rape, 20 years consecutive. For aggravated battery, 20 years consecutive. Count after count. Sentence after sentence. Year after year. Adding up. Ensuring. Guaranteeing. Life plus multiple life sentences. Plus decades. Plus everything. Never getting out. Never being free. Never escaping justice. Total sentence? Life without parole. Plus life. Plus 80 more years. Impossible to serve completely. But symbolic. But meaningful. But justice. Judge addressed the family. Acknowledged their pain. Recognized their loss. Honored their daughter. No sentence can bring Laken back. No punishment can heal your pain. No justice can restore what was taken. But this court has done everything within its power to ensure Jose Ibarra never harms anyone again. He thanked them for their strength, for their testimony, for their courage, for seeking justice. Jose was led away, shackled, orange jumpsuit, Emotionless. No reaction. No remorse. No humanity. Just convicted murderer. Just life prisoner. Just removed from society forever. He would be transferred to Georgia Diagnostic and Classification Prison, then to permanent facility, maximum security, life sentence, death in prison. No appeals changing that. No parole board considering him. Never. Laken's family hugged outside courthouse, cried together, supported each other. Justice delivered. Verdict guilty. Sentence maximum. System worked. Monster imprisoned. Daughter honored. But pain remained. Would always remain. Laken still dead. Still buried. Still gone. Forever. No sentence changes that. No justice restores that. No verdict heals that. They would live with loss forever. Wake up without her. Go to bed without her. Celebrate holidays without her. Every day. Every moment. Every breath. Missing her. Loving her. Remembering her. But Jose would suffer too. Prison forever. Cell forever. Bars forever. No freedom. No joy. No life. Just existence. Just punishment. Just consequence. The case went national. International. Immigration debate exploded. Laken Riley became symbol of border failure, of system failure, of preventable death. Politicians used her name, used her case, used her death, for agendas, for campaigns, for legislation, some genuine, some exploitative, all keeping her story alive. Her family started foundation, Laken Hope Riley Foundation, honoring her memory, helping others, making difference, turning tragedy into purpose, turning grief into action, turning loss into legacy. Jose Antonio Ibarra was sentenced to life without parole plus additional consecutive sentences for murdering Laken Riley. He will never be released from prison. As we continue, like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Laken Riley's murder wasn't just crime, wasn't just tragedy, became political firestorm, national debate, immigration controversy, campaign issue, everything. Why? Because Jose Ibarra was a illegal immigrant, shouldn't have been in America, shouldn't have been in Georgia, shouldn't have been free, should have been detained, should have been deported, should have been anywhere except Athens on February 22, 2024. Republicans seized the case, used it, highlighted it, made it central to immigration debate, to border security argument, to campaign messaging. Donald Trump mentioned Laken repeatedly, at rallies, at speeches, at debates, called her murder preventable, called it Biden's fault, called it border failure, called it tragedy that didn't need to happen. Laken Riley would be alive today if we had a secure border, Trump said, at multiple rallies, multiple times, making her symbol, making her proof, making her political. She was murdered by an illegal immigrant who was caught and released. Caught and released. This is what happens when you have open borders. This is what happens when you don't enforce laws. Americans die. Republican candidates followed. Used same messaging, same arguments, same examples. Laken Riley became name everyone knew, face everyone recognized, story everyone repeated. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp spoke out. Strong statement, clear position, political stance. Laken Riley should be alive today. Her death was preventable. Jose Ibarra should never have been in our state, should never have been in our country. This is failure of federal immigration policy, failure of border security, failure of this administration. He called for action, for change, for accountability, for consequences. Republican House members acted, introduced legislation, named after Laken, Laken Riley Act. March 7, 2024, 2 weeks after her murder. The bill was simple, clear, direct, required federal detention of illegal immigrants arrested for theft or burglary. No release, no catch and release, no disappearing into country. Jose Ibarra had been arrested. October 2023, shoplifting at Walmart, theft, But he was released. Not detained by ICE. Not held. Not deported. Released. Free. 5 months later, he murdered Laken. The act would prevent that. Would require detention. Would prevent release. Would protect Americans. That was argument. That was purpose. That was intent. House voted. March 2024. Bill passed. 251 to 170. Bipartisan vote. Some Democrats joined Republicans. Recognizing problem. Recognizing need. Recognizing Laken. But Senate was different. Democratic controlled. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer controlled agenda. Controlled votes. Controlled everything. He refused to bring bill to vote. Blocked it. Killed it. No debate. No vote. No consideration. Dead on arrival. Democrats argued bill was political. Reactionary. Unnecessary. Existing laws sufficient. New legislation not needed. Just enforcement of current laws. They argued bill scapegoated immigrants. Demonized community. Blamed group for individuals' actions. Unfair. Unjust. Wrong approach. But Republicans countered. This isn't about immigrants generally. This is about illegal immigrants. Who commit crimes. Who get arrested. Who get released. Who kill Americans. Laken's family stayed mostly quiet. Didn't want her politicized. Didn't want her used. Wanted her remembered. Honored. Not exploited. Her mother Allison gave limited interviews. Focused on Laken. On loss. On justice. Not on politics. Not on immigration. Not on debates. Laken was beautiful soul. Loving daughter. Future nurse. That's what I want people to remember. Not politics. Not arguments. Just Laken. But her name was everywhere. Used everywhere. Debated everywhere. Republicans saying her name. Democrats avoiding it. Media covering it. Everyone talking about it. Biden administration responded. Defended border policies. Defended immigration approach. Defended system. White House press secretary gave statement. This was a tragedy. Our hearts go to the family. But we cannot make policy based on isolated incidents. We need comprehensive immigration reform. That response angered Republicans. Angered conservatives. Angered Americans. Isolated incident? Laken was dead. Murdered. By illegal immigrant who was caught and released. That's not isolated. That's systemic. That's failure. The political divide grew. Republicans hammered immigration. Democrats defended policies. Media covered everything. Laken's name in every debate. Every speech. Every campaign ad. Trump won Republican primary. Partly on immigration message. Partly on border security. Partly on cases like Laken Riley. Making it central issue. Making it winning issue. November 2024. Presidential election. Trump versus Kamala Harris. Immigration was major issue. Border security. Deportations. Enforcement. Everything. Laken Riley was mentioned. In ads. In debates. In speeches. Symbol of border failure. Symbol of preventable death. Symbol of need for change. Trump won. November 2024. Decisive victory. Many factors contributed. Economy. Inflation. Leadership. But immigration was huge. Border security was critical. Laken Riley was symbol. January 2025. Trump inaugurated. Second term began. Immediately acted. First bill signed. Laken Riley Act. Reintroduced. Passed House again. This time Senate different. Republican controlled. Trump presidency. Different outcome. Senate voted. January 20th, 2025. Bill passed. 60 to 39. Some Democrats joined Republicans. Enough to pass. Enough to send to president. Trump signed it. January 29th, 2025. First bill of second term. Ceremony at White House. Laken's family invited. Present. Watching. Witnessing. This bill is named after beautiful young woman who should be alive today, Trump said. Laken Riley. Nursing student. future pediatric nurse, murdered by illegal immigrant who was caught and released. This should never happen again. This bill ensures it won't. Laken's parents stood behind him, tearful, grateful, sad, their daughter dead, but her name creating change, her death preventing others, her legacy protecting Americans. The act became law, federal mandate, required detention, no release, no catch and release. Immigration and Customs Enforcement must detain illegal immigrants arrested for qualifying crimes. Hold them, process them, deport them. No more releasing, no more disappearing, no more murdering. Critics argued act was reactionary, punitive, unfairly targeting immigrants, creating fear, creating problems. Supporters argued act was necessary, protective, saving American lives, preventing tragedies, honoring Laken. The debate continued, would always continue. Immigration contentious, border security divisive, enforcement controversial, always political, always debated, always fought over. But one thing clear, undeniable, obvious. Jose Ibarra shouldn't have been free, shouldn't have been in Athens, shouldn't have been near Lake Herrick, should have been detained, should have been deported, should have been prevented from murdering Laken Riley. System failed, border failed, policies failed, enforcement failed. Laken paid price, ultimate price, with her life. Now her name lives on, in legislation, in debates, in memory. Laken Riley Act, protecting Americans, preventing tragedies, honoring beautiful young woman who wanted to be nurse, who wanted to help children, who wanted to make difference, who never got chance. November 2024, Jose Ibarra convicted, sentenced to life without parole. Justice delivered. Case closed. Laken's family finally had closure, finally had justice, finally could begin healing. But the legal system doesn't end with conviction, doesn't end with sentencing. Appeals exist, rights exist, process continues. December 2024, less than month after conviction, Jose Ibarra's attorneys filed motion for new trial, standard procedure, standard appeal, standard attempt to overturn conviction. They argued trial errors, claimed mistakes, claimed problems, claimed conviction should be overturned. Arguments were weak, evidence was overwhelming, conviction was solid, but they tried, had to try, system requires it. Judge Patrick Haggard reviewed motion, considered arguments, denied it, quickly, decisively, completely. The evidence in this case was overwhelming. The verdict was appropriate. The conviction stands. Motion denied. But defense wasn't done. Couldn't be done. Appeals process continues. State appeals. Federal appeals. Years of appeals. Decades maybe. June 2025. 6 months after conviction. Defense filed another motion. Different argument. Different approach. Different strategy. Motion for competency evaluation. Claiming Jose Ibarra wasn't competent to stand trial. Claiming he didn't understand proceedings. Claiming he couldn't help prepare defense. Claiming conviction should be overturned. This was serious. More serious than first motion. Competency issues can overturn convictions, can require new trials, can change everything. Defense argued Jose had congenital deficiency, mental impairment, cognitive issues, language barriers, Spanish speaker, limited English, didn't understand American legal system. They claimed he couldn't understand waiving jury trial. Biggest decision of case. Choosing judge over jury. Did he really understand? Did he really comprehend? Did he really consent? Defense attorney David Dowds described Jose as slow learner, language barriers, processing issues, comprehension problems, maybe not competent, maybe not capable, maybe not guilty because not competent. They also requested funding for DNA expert, independent analysis, review forensic evidence, challenge prosecution's DNA testimony, try finding alternative explanations, July 3, 2025. Judge Patrick Haggard signed order. Shocking order. Unexpected order. Order that threatened everything. Judge granted competency evaluation. Ordered mental health assessment. Using certified Spanish interpreter. To determine if Jose was competent. If he understood trial. If conviction was valid. Evaluation would determine 3 things. Was Jose competent at time of crime? Was Jose competent during trial? Is Jose competent now to assist in appeal? If found incompetent for any, conviction could be overturned. New trial could be ordered. Justice could be undone. Laken's family was devastated. Heard the news. Heard about evaluation. Heard justice threatened. After everything. After trial. After conviction. After sentencing. Now this. Now uncertainty. Now nightmare restarting. Allison Phillips, Laken's mother, felt crushed. Thought it was over. Thought justice was done. Thought she could grieve. Could heal. Could move forward. Now doubting. Now waiting. Now suffering again. The evaluation process began. Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities assigned. Psychiatric evaluation. Psychological testing. Cognitive assessment. Everything examined. Everything tested. Everything analyzed. Jose Ibarra evaluated. Multiple sessions. Multiple tests. Spanish interpreter present. Making sure he understood. Making sure communication clear. Making sure evaluation fair. Evaluators tested comprehension. Asked about trial. Asked about charges. Asked about conviction. Asked about everything. Did he understand? Could he explain? Did he comprehend? They tested memory, cognitive function, processing speed, language ability, everything relevant, everything important, everything determining competency, results pending, evaluation ongoing, report coming, months away, maybe longer, system slow, justice delayed, family waiting. Meanwhile, public reacted, outrage everywhere. How can murderer claim incompetence? How can system allow this? How can justice be threatened? DNA evidence was conclusive. 1 in 10 billion. His DNA under her fingernails. Her blood on his jacket. Phone data placing him there. Surveillance showing him stalking. Everything proved guilt. How does competency change that? But legally, competency matters. Can't convict someone who doesn't understand proceedings. Can't sentence someone who can't comprehend. Constitutional requirement. Due process. Rights. Even murderers have rights. Even monsters. Even Jose Ibarra. That's system. That's America. That's justice requiring fairness even for unfair people. Legal experts weighed in. Some said evaluation routine. Standard appeal tactic. Rarely successful. Conviction likely stands. Others worried. Said language barriers real. Said comprehension issues possible. Said evaluation could find problems. Could overturn conviction. Could require new trial. Victims' rights advocates condemned process. Said system protects criminals more than victims. Said appeals process too long. Said justice delayed is justice denied. Laken Riley's family shouldn't have to relive this, they argued. Conviction was solid. Evidence was overwhelming. This is just delaying tactic. Just prolonging pain. Just torturing family. But process continues. System works. Appeals happen. Evaluations proceed. Justice takes time. Sometimes too much time. If evaluation finds Jose competent, conviction stands. Appeal fails. Life sentence continues. Jose dies in prison. Justice prevails. If evaluation finds Jose incompetent, conviction overturned. New trial ordered. Family suffers again. Justice delayed. Maybe denied. New trial would be nightmare. Reliving everything. Hearing evidence again. Seeing autopsy photos again. Hearing 911 call again. Watching mother collapse again. Everything repeated. Everything traumatizing. Everything unbearable. But worse possibility exists. What if jury acquits? What if new trial means different outcome? What if Jose walks free? Unthinkable. Impossible. But possible. That's why family terrified. August 2025. Evaluation continues. Results pending. Family waiting. Public watching. Everyone hoping. Hoping evaluation finds competence. Hoping conviction stands. Hoping justice prevails. Laken's family trying to live. Trying to heal. Trying to move forward. But can't. Not fully. Not yet. Not while appeal pending. Not while evaluation ongoing. Not while justice uncertain. They maintain Laken Hope Riley Foundation. Honor her memory. Help others. Make difference. Turning tragedy into purpose. Turning grief into action. Turning loss into legacy. But every day hurts. Every morning without her. Every night without her. Every holiday. Every birthday. Every moment. Missing her. Loving her. Grieving her. And now fearing. Fearing evaluation results. Fearing appeal success. Fearing justice undone. Fearing Jose freed. Fearing nightmare restarting. The legal battle continues. Appeals proceed. Evaluation ongoing. Justice waiting. System working. Slowly. Painfully. Uncertainly. Jose Ibarra sits in prison. Maximum security. Life sentence. For now. Awaiting evaluation. Awaiting results. Awaiting decision. Awaiting fate. Laken Riley remains dead. Buried. Gone. Forever. No appeal changes that. No evaluation restores that. No justice heals that. Just permanent loss. Permanent pain. Permanent absence. Jose Ibarra was convicted and sentenced to life without parole for murdering Laken Riley. But July 2025, judge ordered competency evaluation that could overturn conviction. Results pending. Justice uncertain. Family waiting. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to remember Laken Riley and demand justice. Stay safe, stay aware, and I'll see you in my next case.